Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katherine Young and I'm a creative. Today we are going to do 3 DIY projects all inspired by vintage Halloween, and they're all pretty affordable and pretty easy. You don't need a lot of supplies. Today we are going to do a take on the vintage cone doll. We are going to do a gorgeous vintage Halloween inspired bunting. And lastly, we are going to do an antique Halloween style paper lantern. So stay tuned. Today, I am going to be showcasing some influencer items from Temu that I picked up to complete these projects. And right now, Temu is celebrating their 1-year anniversary. So be sure to download the app. And when you do, enter my code and you will get a coupon for $100 off. Temu has lots of really inexpensive craft supplies. And I picked up some great pieces here, and you're going to be really excited when you see how they turn out. I will have all the information linked below. All right, let's get going. The first item we are going to make is a vintage style cone doll. Now, I actually took a class from Amy over at Amy's Rock and Pop Shop, and she showed me how to make vintage cone dolls. So we are going to do a version of that today. Vintage cone dolls were very popular in the mid-century, and they have an amazing kitschy look, and we're going to make a Wicked Witch. So here are all the items we are going to use on our project today. So I got these little like scrapbook paper packs. They're like a smaller size, not full size. These felt witch hats, these little miniature ones, these are fantastic. Then I also picked up these felt spiderweb cutouts. Great for coasters, so many possibilities with those. I picked up some chenille pipe cleaners, a pack of them. And then this is some like sparkly tulle. I also got some glue sticks, a vintage doll head, which I got online, and this awesome cordless rechargeable glue gun, along with a pair of scissors. So these are all the affordable craft supplies for today. Everything but the doll head and the scissors I actually picked up on Temu for a very reasonable price. So I picked up this cute little vintage doll head online. I thought her pink hair was really cute, and I'm excited to make her a witch. So I'm sorting through the different paper packs now to see which paper I think would go best with our doll head. This one is perfect. I love the pops of pink and orange with her hair. Really wonderful. Now that I pulled out the packs of paper I want to use, now is the time for me to create the cone. So the best way to create a cone that I was taught out of a square of paper is to fold from the corner. So that is what I'm doing here. I am using my glue gun to create the cone. Now there are so many different ways to do this. Honestly, I didn't even do the best job. I was a little sloppy when I did this. I then trimmed down the cone so that the doll would stand up correctly. I then decided to take an extra step, and I'm cutting out these houses, and I'm gonna make like little embellishments on the bottom of her cone dress. So this is just an extra thing I'm doing because I'm excited about the idea. It's definitely not something you have to add to your doll. Next, the arms. We're making them out of the pipe cleaners. And I just folded the pipe cleaners over in half. I'm making sure they fit. And now I'm kind of creating like hands on the end by twisting the pipe cleaners off. So these actually worked out to be perfect size for this project, but you can cut these down to really any size you need. I'm now making sleeves for those arms because she's still gonna have like a spooky witchy dress on is kind of the vibe I'm going for. And I kind of want the sleeves to like bell out at the end. I think that feels a little more magical and mystical. Now I am adding long cuffs on the sleeves. This is an extra embellishment that I want to do that you don't have to do. Now I am gluing it all together so I have the arms ready to go and put on our doll. I am trimming off those cups a bit to my own preference. And how cute does the doll head look glued on? Oh, it looks wonderful. Those little hats, those little felted hats are gonna work just perfectly on her. So I'm taking the felted hat and I actually removed the ribbon and I'm putting that sparkly tool on there. I'm using the glue gun to hold it down a little bit. And now I'm gluing it on her head. This is the most nerve-wracking part because it's not coming off if I get it wrong, but it looks really cute. Now I'm gonna take one of those spider webs and I'm gonna glue her onto that. And it's just because it'll give her a wider base. My doll is turning out to be a little top heavy, and so this is how I'm compensating for that. But you don't need to take this step. Oh my goodness, y'all. I'm adding the arms and then some embellishments, and she is almost done. All right, y'all. I don't know if you can handle the level of cute that this turned out to be. This actually turned out to be way cuter than I thought it was going to. Look at her. Oh my God. I like just looking at her in the camera, looking at her in person. Oh my God. If you think she's cute in camera, she is actually way cuter in person. I'm really proud of her. Now, I did add some extra embellishments just for my own personal preference. And I think that buying a pre-made cone would be a lot easier and would help her not be so top heavy. I don't think the way I did it is probably the best way, but you can just do whatever works for you. I just used the items that I had on hand. Ugh, all the little embellishments. I'm a very more is more person, so I had fun putting all the little extras on. And I hope you understand that you don't have to do all the extras I did. All the embellishments and such are just me being creative and playing. You can do this however you want, as simple as you want, or as over the top as you want. But I really do hope this inspired you to try making a vintage cone doll. If you ever see a doll that is in worse for wear, maybe you come across a doll head thrifting or at an antique store, this is a great way to bring them back to life. So the next project we're gonna make is a vintage classic bunting. Now, I haven't seen too many tutorials on this, and this is my first time doing it, so we're kind of winging it. But this is a super easy project. All you need is crepe paper, paint, and we're gonna toy around with what fastenings work best. It was really common to decorate a lot with crepe paper for parties back in the day. If you look at like the Dennison Boogie books, they have tons of like crepe paper decorations and such. And you can get like these larger size crepe paper rolls very inexpensively. And that is what we're going to use today. We're going to use some of this brown rolled paper and this crepe paper sheet that I got on Temu. And all of this supplies over here is just stuff I already had. And I'm guessing we're going to use on this project. I don't really recommend any particular brands, but I did end up using most of this. I started out by folding this back and forth accordion style. I initially thought I was going to like mark it all out, but honestly, it just became too much work to do the markings, too tedious. So I just started just winging it. And it worked out really quite good. You can see the folds look really nice here. Now that I'm done with all the folds, I'm gonna start painting, and I'm just using some acrylic paint and a paintbrush and a sponge. I'm using white and black on the orange for a very vintage Halloween look. What I ended up doing was some spots, some spider webs, and some stripes, and I thought it looked really cute. Now, this really did take longer than I thought it was going to. This was by far the most time-intensive project. So just warning you, to do all the painting and such is quite time-intensive. After I let these dry, then I folded them all back up again. Then I took some of this brown paper and I started reinforcing some of the edges. So what I ended up doing was hole punching the edges, and then I took a pipe cleaner and strung it through on the end. And honestly, that worked really well. But I was just kind of guessing. I've never done this before, but I would recommend using a pipe cleaner for this. And once I got it together, look how good that looks, right? Doesn't that look so wonderful? So yeah, I could tell this was going to be really great. Now, the last thing I did was I reinforced this with some cardboard on the end. And I think that was a good call on my part. And I did this to 2 full panels of crepe paper to create 2 buntings. Oh my gosh, y'all, you are gonna love how this turned out. Get ready. I am actually kind of shook how good this looks. It looks so vintage. It looks like it was meant to be. I used 2 full rolls of crepe paper, the spider webs to hide some of my hanging areas. Ugh, this room feels like a Halloween room now. Y'all, that turned out so good. I am absolutely amazed. I did not know how wonderful it was going to make the room look. I mean, I kind of saw it in my head, but I just did not see it to its full potential in my head. And the last project I'm really excited about. Ugh, these look so cool. We are making our own version of those antique paper lanterns. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be so good. So I was looking at all the different paper lantern designs and I had to laugh. I'm looking through all these different shops, and of course, there's some of my favorite sellers on Etsy have the best lamps. And I was looking at the ones that I really like, and so I made kind of my own version of it. I traced out the size of the lamp, and we're gonna just use the pattern that I created myself to kind of make our own version. Now, I did link the pattern down below, so you can have that. And honestly, the pattern is the hardest part in this. This is actually a pretty simple project. I think you're gonna love the way it looks. So really, these are all the supplies we need for today's project. I had some black and orange scrapbook paper on hand. It is cardstock weight. And then this stack, this is all my different templates that I made. And remember, you can download those below if you'd like. And then I have some glue. You can use any glue you like. I have some tissue paper, scissors, a pencil, and the hole punch again. I'm going to use that to punch out eyes so I don't have to use an X-Acto knife. I think that'll just be easier to use the hole punch. And that's really all you need for this project. I started out cutting out the different templates, and I wasn't all that exact with this. Now remember, when cutting different angles, move your paper, don't move your scissors. You'll get better lines that way. But yeah, I wasn't super exact with this because when you look at the lanterns, they're not super exact. So I just really wasn't stressed out about making this perfect. I then took my patterns and I traced them onto the different scrapbook papers. Once I was done tracing, I cut all my different little pieces out. And again, remember, move the paper, not your scissors. And now I'm using the hole punch to cut out the eye, much easier than getting an X-Acto knife. I then glued the pieces of the lantern kind of together the way I wanted them. And in the template, it shows like which panel goes with which object. I then cut out tissue paper to back this panel with. I made sure the tissue paper matched on the back and then I glued it down. And there you have a completed panel. Okay, so once you have all your panels, Then you're gonna glue them together using that little side tab that was on the pattern. There is something so fun about creating a piece that you love so much. You end up putting it out year after year after year. And this is definitely one of those pieces. And here it is, the final finished project. I think it looks so amazing. Oh my goodness. I actually think it looks even more vintage than I thought it was going to. I'm really impressed with how it looks. And yeah, I might make more of these. I feel like they would look so cute sitting out everywhere. I'm kind of in love with this. And that is it, y'all. We are all done. Honestly, I can't believe how great all three of these items turned out. I think they look amazing and I can't choose a favorite. And I really enjoyed just making all these projects. I hope you did too. Please let me know down below which was your favorite or if you are gonna try one of these. And if you like spoopy creative projects like this, please subscribe. On this channel, we do vintage, thrifting, creative projects, and more. And if you ring that bell, you'll be the first to know when I next upload. So stay creative, y'all. Bye!